Welcome everybody to the Sports Express Weekend Football Wrap-Up Show. We've got Rob Bennett. We've got Dan O'Hara. We were on site at some games. We were watching through the internet for some others, but we saw some good football this weekend, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely. The west side of the Syracuse Section 3 area, there were a lot of football successes, big wins by Cato Meridian, Skinny Atlas, Port Byron, Marcellus, Auburn, and also caught some youth football action as well, right, Coach?
I try not to laugh. Too much fun here.
From Pop Warner to the Dome, from 5Ks to marathons, from Little League to work leagues, focusing on the community sports lifestyle in Central New York.
Oh, do it, do it. Go and do it.
So where do you want to start?
Let's start right here, hometown Auburn. How about that?
All right, sounds great. Let's get this going.
So I was on site at Sunnycrest Field for the Henniger Black Knights against the Auburn Maroons, and the theme of the day for the Auburn Maroons was defense. Here you can see a low snap is fumbled by Gavin Cook. The Maroons hop on him. They would force a turnover on downs here. So now on offense, they do have a couple options. One is Connor Mahanick. He is a best friend of quarterback Troy Cherney, and here's Troy delivering a pass to number 24, Shaheed Beal, someone he's played with since Pop Warner for the touchdown, and of a Davari Agee 2-point conversion right up the middle. Big boy right there. So next, Henniger answers. Gavin Cook drops back, launches one to number 8, fellow senior captain Craig Reeves Jr. for the touchdown. 4 seconds before halftime, and then here in the second half, Robert Morris showing off his running skills, powering his way into the Henniger red zone. Later on that possession, after Morris eventually goes down, you got Cherney going up the middle with a quarterback sneak on 4th and goal, but they stop him. The Black Knights had some luck stopping Cherney there. And then on a fake punt out of their own end zone, the Black Knights are not successful. This would lead directly to a Cherney 15-yard beast of a touchdown run, if I'm being totally honest. And then they would get one more. Henniger would get scored one more time on a scoop and score, but linebacker Owen Spearing wrapped up Eric Sparkman right at the goal line to hang on to the 2-point lead and the 14-16 win for the Maroons. They are 1-0 on this year and will be hosting Penfield next week.
Yeah, it's a big win for the Maroons going into Henninger on the road on opening day and getting a win over that AA school. That's good stuff. Talk to me a little bit about that Agee guy. He seemed like he was just an absolute beast and tough to take down.
So he got most of his work near the end of the game. I think his first 2 carries were both 2-yard, 2-point conversions. Yeah. But with about right at the turn of the quarter, from the 3rd to the 4th quarter, the Maroons had the ball and they just wanted to eat up some clock. So I think they must have given it to Agee 5 times in 6 carries or something like that, and he just was a beast. He's their leading rusher, 63 yards on 11 carries, excuse me. Yep. So he was just a force for them. It was really a big part of them killing a lot of clock towards the end of the game.
Yeah, Shaheed Beal, every time I watch highlights of Auburn games, seems like Shaheed makes the highlight reel, catches passes, runs the ball, and seems to do a little bit of everything. Did you coach him in Pop Warner, Coach?
I think I did. Yeah. But Owen Spearing, he's the one to watch. That kid on defense is everywhere. Last year, same thing. The announcer got tired of saying his name, I'm sure, because that kid's everywhere.
Yeah, I was interviewing Cherney after the game, and he specifically shouted out Owen Spearing amongst one other linebacker whose name escapes me at the moment. But just for someone to be shouted out like that specifically, not just as a team effort, but somebody like that who was all over the field shows he's a real player, and he's somebody that Auburn's gonna look to rally around defensively all season.
All right, so big win for your Maroons, and who's up next week for those guys?
Penfield. They're hosting Penfield, so they'll look to continue their winning ways over at Holland Stadium.
All right, home game against Penfield, the Rochester area. Should be a good one. Get your butts out to Holland Stadium and watch that game next week. Hey, Tommy, great job.
Appreciate it. You were in you weren't in Skinny Atlas, but you were at the Skinny Atlas game, weren't you?
Yeah, and I was at Holland Patent, and a lot of questions surrounding the new look Skinny Atlas Lakers, all the graduations. Pat Hackler, All-State quarterback, R.A. Boney, All-State running back, All-State linebacker, just linemen, Jimmy Liberatore, Jack Carlisle, losing other weapons and wide receivers, Nate Wellington, who's at Syracuse, and everyone was really wondering whether Skinny Atlas had the horses to go back in and compete this year. We wrote an article last week whether Skinny Atlas football was reloading or rebuilding, and boy, it was clear right from the get-go that Skinny Atlas has reloaded, taken on the reigning Section 3 Class C champs in Holland Patton. We went up there. It was a pretty festive night. Holland Patton opened up a brand new field there, and Skinny Atlas took it to them right from the beginning. A name you're going to be hearing a lot of this year, Cody Nesbitt, sophomore wide receiver. That kid can do anything. Okay, so here's the opening kickoff of the game. Cody Nesbitt, sophomore, receives the ball, waves Nick Womp on, and it is just off to the races. Didn't really even seem to have to make guys miss, just use the speed all the way to the end zone. That is some way to open a season. What do you think there, Coach?
I like it.
This is what we're more accustomed to seeing. This is number 2, sophomore James Musso, new quarterback for Skinny Atlas, and takes the ball and just rifles it to All-State wide receiver Nick Womp. How you leave that guy so wide open, I have no idea. But Nick scores his first touchdown of the young season. Holland Patton had some success moving the ball at the outset of the game. Some big runs here by number 1. And taking a look at the new defense of the Skinny Atlas Lakers, Colin Cox, Taj Blackson had a huge game on defense for the Lakers. Seems like every time you watch them, big hit there by number 80, Ken Byrne. But the Lakers always employ that bend but don't break defense. Holland Patton gets close to the end zone here. And they punch it in at this point. I believe that made it 20-14. Just too little, too late for Holland Patton. Big question mark here, Jack Comer, new running back for Skinny Atlas, takes the ball here. You know, with the points that they put up and everything they had going, really had a tough time getting the running back game going with Jack Comer. So we're back to the basics here, and Musso finds Nick Womp on the outside, and Womp just had a huge game for Skinny Atlas. 5 catches for 223 yards and 3 touchdowns. Here you've got a quick pitch to, again, Cody Nesbitt, one of his 4 touchdowns. The touchdown that he had on the opening kickoff and 3 additional passing touchdowns from Musso. Little bit of defense here. Again, Taj Blackson coming in from the outside, making a nice tackle. So when you cover Nesbitt and you cover Womp, then the Lakers go elsewhere. Here's number 87, Colin Cox, junior wide receiver for his first touchdown on the young season. Lakers just have so many weapons and tough to control. Late in the game, Holland Patton got some action going with some passing. Nice catch there. Followed up with another long ball down the sideline. But like I said, Skinny Atlas defense typically bending but not breaking. And on this possession, great interception by number 80, Kenny Byrne. Kenny Byrne all over the field, lots of tackles, and there he comes up with an interception in the red zone. Yeah, so, you know, very, very successful start for the Lakers. They've got a heck of a game this weekend against Canastota. Those schools have battled 2 years ago in Class C as the Lakers marched to the state championship, but they won that game 28-21, 21-21 late, and Nick Womp caught a bubble screen and took it to the house, beat everybody. Probably their toughest game throughout that entire playoff run. So that game will be at Holland Stadium. That game will be at Skinny Atlas Friday night. I think it's an 8 o'clock start, we're going to be there.
Some, aren't we?
Yeah, I think the Backyard Sports Network team, myself and Tommy, we'll see if we can get the rest of these guys, coach involved. But we're going to be live streaming that game from Hyatt Stadium in Skinny Atlas, and should be a good time.
Absolutely, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to getting to watch this connection of Musso and Womp work together, because if anything is to be gleaned from this matchup, they're going to be pretty prolific this year.
Nick Womp grew up a little bit.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, he's a big boy. Remember back in the football clinic days, hitting him with a bag. I don't know if I'd hit him.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be a good idea.
No, is
Yeah,
he taller than his father?
He is definitely taller than his father, but he's just so hard to stop. Late in the game, he scored 2 touchdowns late. One, again, was just another bubble screen. He must have broke 6-7 tackles and just went to the house.
His father was a hell of a football player, too.
Out in the Rochester area, absolutely. So should be a good game out in Skaneateles next week. We love to talk about upsets, and I don't know if this is an upset, but the Port Byron Union Springs team, 0-8 last year, got off to a little bit of a rough start, losing their head coach right before the start of the season, but sounds like they had a pretty successful opening day. Coach O'Hara was out there. Coach, what'd you see?
Well, everything seemed to go their way in the first half. They scored 25 points. They didn't score any points in the second half. A little concerning there. They had a lot of miscues, some bad snaps, a couple delay of games, but no doubt Colin's going to get that stuff all taken care of, for the road ahead. They've got Cato coming into their house Friday night. So, another good test for these guys. But, my heart's with Colin Dillenball. He's a pride player, smart kid, great kid. And, here he is. First game as head coach, getting his guys ready. Rain's coming down. They're playing at Union Springs. They get they win the coin toss and elected to kick, so they didn't
That's
defer.
an interesting selection, Coach.
Yeah. But anyway, here's number 6, Joshua Kyle, hits the outside first quarter, and he's gone. Down the sideline, scores a 30-yard TD run. Extra point fails. It's 6-0. Here's a guy you're going to hear a lot of, number 15, Jose Reyes, playing DB. Tip drill, takes it. There he goes, Jose Reyes. Gets to the outside, whoop, goes back inside, takes it all the way, 20-yard return on the pick. Port Byron 12-0. And here's this Reyes kid again. Let's watch some celebration, though. He's all excited. Crowd goes nuts. And Mason Helmer to guess who? Jose Reyes. Another 6 on the board. Brings it to 19-0 in the first quarter. And number 10, Caleb Dymock. Oh, takes that one, pick 6, brings that all the way back, and Port Byron's 25-0 in the first half. But it was all about Port Byron defense. I mean, they're fast to the ball. They just swarm. If this was the SU Picture Club, they'd have 8-9 guys in the picture. There they are, all swarming to the ball, and they don't stop till the ball carrier's down. Another one where they just swarm to the ball, fast, very aggressive, and Ethan Koch here, number 64, good speed getting up the field, but number 56, Mitchell Tanner, cleans it up. Again, Ethan Koch here forces a fumble, recovered by Port Byron, good scrape, boom, good hit. Who's got the ball? Who's got the ball? They're waiting. Ref comes in. What's the signal? Port Byron ball. So here's another physical play. This is just getting to the ball carrier and making tackles. I love this. This is the double-A gap. It was just incredible. And here's another one you're gonna keep an eye on. Number 21, Jason Morgenthaler. Just the kid's everywhere. And there's another tip drill. There's a pick. Gavin Smithler takes that back. And again, here's this Jason Morgenthaler. This kid is just fast, agile, and he just reads this perfectly. I love this kid. Just making plays all over the place. And oh, by the way, if it comes down to special teams, they're on that too. They get to the football very fast, very quick, and they come in droves. And we got a chance to talk to Colin at the end of the game. All right, here with Colin Dillenball. Colin, head coach of the Port Byron Panthers. First game as a head coach. You got to win. How's it feel?
It feels great. Like I said, right after we got up, the game was won. We went over to the end zone and we huddled together, and I told the kids that they deserved it. They went through and they conquered all of these things that in the off season and the last season that should have put a team down, and they played through it and they got the win and they deserve it.
What stood out for you in this game?
Our defense. Our defense flowed to the ball. We have a lot of athletes. The Utica Notre Dame came, when I talked to him before the game, he said, hey, I saw you on film. you guys fly to the ball. You got a lot of speed, and that's what we do. We do have a lot of speed. And they play aggressive and downhill, and that's why we won 25-0.
Yeah, and it seems like you had the right scheme defensively on a bunch of their plays, almost like you knew what they were going to come out in.
Yep.
You had a double A gap blitz that was just unbelievable. I got that on film. That'll be a good one.
Yep.
But hey, you got a tough road ahead of you. You got Skinny Atlas coming up. You got General Brown. You got some big games. So a lot of stuff to work on next week. And just want to say congratulations. You know I love you.
Thanks.
And hey, enjoy it.
Thanks.
All right, Colin. Thanks. So I mean, hats off to Colin. I know he was nervous. I talked to him before the game. He was a little nervous, but no, they came out and played. Everything just seemed to go their way the first half. They got turnovers. They could run the ball. They could throw the ball. And Mason Helmer stood out to me. Yeah. I mean, they've got just a list of guys that just play the game. They play the game very well.
Well, you and I had an opportunity to talk to Reyes and Mason last week, in addition to Coach Dillabaugh, and those kids just seemed like they were going to go. They were ready for action, and it seems like they went out and proved that. Colin was very confident in his players and that they were going to be able to go out and perform, and it looks like they did. So good for them. After coming off an 0-8 season, starting the season 0-8 season last year, winning the first one this year, it's got to be a great feeling for everyone in that Port Byron Union Springs program. Yeah,
Colin was a defensive coordinator, and Nate Howard took over for him when he went to head coach. So, hats off to both of them guys for getting the defense rolling.
Shut out.
And they're flying. I mean, them kids fly all over the field, make plays. Not a lot that that you could see that there's holes in the defense. Yeah. But hey, you got Cato, you got Beaver River, you got Skinny Atlas coming up, so you're gonna have a big test there in a couple weeks. So
and Cato this weekend, they had a big win over Herkimer, 34-14. So that's not gonna be any cakewalk either.
Yeah, I don't think there's an easy road for Port Byron from here on out. So
all right. And so you also had an opportunity to go out to watch some youth football this weekend?
I did.
Awesome.
I went to Skinny Atlas, went to Jordan Elbridge to watch Skinny Atlas play Jordan Elbridge. And, we'll have highlights of that probably in the later show. But,
okay.
Sidoni, stick around for a while because you got some kids coming up that can play football. So,
Sidoni and Patterson. There's some Marcellus kids in that program, too. So
stick around because it was fun to watch.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
My biggest takeaway probably is that, as a team who went winless last year, your biggest motivation is at least to get one, I feel like. To get one win, and the first week of the season, people are going to be sleeping on you because you haven't won in a whole season plus some. So I think to be able to go out and get a good win like that, 25-0 shutout, and I guess the defense really dominated for them. To be able to go out and do that, that's a big stepping stone for a program that was, like you guys said, in rough shape last year.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, the good thing about it is they had the game in Union Springs. They normally play in Port Byron, but they wanted to have a community involvement game, and I was surprised how many people came out to watch that game. They had a good turnout. So,
any idea what the roster composition is between Port Byron and Union Springs kids on that team?
I don't. I know Colin talked about it a little bit. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but they got a pretty good squad. Hopefully they can, put some things together, fix little mistakes, and make a run.
Do I remember that Reyes kid is a sophomore?
Reyes, I believe, is a junior.
Okay. Well,
Morgenthaler's a junior. I wrote that down. That kid moves to the football. I like him.
Either way, that's at least a couple more years of a couple of really good players.
Absolutely.
So, Dan, you also got a chance to check out the local kids, right? The local Pop Warner Auburn football team?
Well, I didn't get to check them out. Both teams were away, but the Auburn Mighty Might team won against Cicero. The junior Pee Wee team lost against Oswego. So I think they're home this week. I think both teams are home this weekend. So.
Where do they play those games, Dan?
The Auburn team, they play at Seward Elementary School. I just drew a blank. That was crazy.
And how far do you live away from Seward Elementary
50 feet.
Yeah, so
across the street.
All right, easy to forget.
Lately, it's all these concussions I've had. I don't know.
Well, let's not go there.
Thursday night. Looking forward to it.
All right. Yeah. No.
Wow. He forgot.
I'm sorry, you threw me for a loop there. Yeah, Thursday night, we're going to have a great time heading out to Dan Conley's tailgate to premiere some Clemson-Syracuse out at the one group, and an even bigger event after that where Dan is going to be honored for his
Zurich Award.
Meanwhile, we're going to go talk to Dan Conley and spend a night with him, watch him talk some Orange football, watch him win an award, and we'll talk more about it.
I'm honored that he asked me to go, so looking forward to it.
You talk about being selfless. I think that's where you were headed, and that is just the epitome of Dan Conley. I don't think there's many people around here, other than maybe yourself, who give back to the community like Dan Conley does. He's given to Pop Warner. He gives to the Auburn Pride. He just gives a lot of his time to the Fayetteville Manlius community. Just a fantastic guy, a fantastic human being, and very, very deserving of the award that Syracuse University is bestowing on him. So we'll have a lot more on that next week.
Looking forward to be there.
By the way, he's got a couple of his kids are pretty good athletes too. So maybe we get a chance to cover them later.
Talk Zach, talk a little lacrosse, talk a little football.
Zach's the man.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Sounds great. Okay, this has been the Sports Express Community Sports Report, and we will be back to you soon reporting the best in the community sports lifestyle. Have a good night.